Okay, this video is the conversion of the barn side of the house to a bedroom. It's taken much longer than we expected. It's taken 8 weeks. We had quite a few reasons for delays. We've done things in the wrong order, made quite a few mistakes. There's so much footage, it would have been hours long. So basically, I'm going to do each stage at a time through the video of the conversion, and at the end summarize it all, give you a tour and break down all the costs. It came in under budget, so we're really pleased with that. And now I'll start the first stage, which is clearing and demolishing and making it down to a bare barn. It's starting to come apart nice and easy. Oh, there's a neighbour's dog. As you can see in the garden, anything good on the stones we're using as decoration in the garden as well. Okay, so this end is mostly dirt on the floor here. There's gravel underneath, but it's definitely higher up here. So what I'm doing is digging it out and just spreading it right out, spread over the hardcore in the corner. This top corner seems to dip a bit, so I'm filling in there and just trying to get it all level as a base for our initial cement underfloor. Okay, so that was the demolition of the olive press and whatever it was in the barn to try and make it flat. Next, we put in a floor made of just cement, just to give us a sort of level base to work from. So that's the next phase of the video coming up. So we're all set up to go. Cement mixer, cement, loads of sand, start mixing. Okay, it hasn't exactly gone to plan, but that was the first 10 bags of sand, 5 bags of cement poured on. Probably not even done a quarter. It's not very level, but that's probably the hardest end. I wish I'd opened the window more. I can't really get to it now. So I'm going to let that dry overnight, go get another load and keep going basically. I think we're not going to worry about it being too level. We can level it out more when we do the second part of the floor with the expanding beads. So it's gone okay. Just got to keep plodding on, I think, and moving up the shed and see what happens. So that's after day 2, pouring cement on the floor. It's starting to level a little bit more. A few bumps and lumps, but as expected. Got today's supplies: 5 bags of cement, 10 bags of sand, 2 sand, 1 cement. So I'm going to mix today, hopefully get this finished as our base layer of the floor and get it as level as we can, ready to then start the walls. Okay, that's pretty much done. I've left the cement mixer on high ground. The rest is looking quite level now. It's very wet, I've just soaked it all down. Luckily, although it's cloudy here, it's about 18, 19 degrees, so things are drying out. So I'll leave that, have a look at it later, but hopefully that'll dry up nicely now. Okay, so the floor went pretty well, or the underfloor. Used a lot more cement than we thought, as usual. Next we moved on to the walls, repairing them, because they're just red brick and not weathering very well, and wanted to make a sound outer wall before we did the insulation and the inner walls. So that was the outer walls repaired and made good. The next thing we decided to do was to make the ceiling dark brown. Probably should have waited to do that later on, but we did it in this order, which is probably a bit strange. Okay, so on to the next stage, which is building the inner walls with insulation, the blue board insulation, to make it hotter in the winter, cooler in the summer. Also, while we were building the walls, we wanted to add in 2 windows, small glass block windows, where there was 2 vents that were in the barn. So that was quite interesting. Involved cutting out holes in the wall and fitting the glass blocks. Also, not forgetting, we had to take out the old doors and enlarge the opening. We sourced a second-hand sliding patio door. So once we got that, we knew the dimensions. We made a massive cost saving. We got it for 175 euros, which is probably a tenth of its price. So that was a brilliant deal. So in the next stage of the project, we put in an insulated floor, raised the floor, levelled it. We didn't want a big step coming in from the patio door, so we got our estimates very wrong. We thought it would take 12 big bags of the clay beads, but it took 40 in the end, so way out, but big job, but we're really pleased with the result. We also put in a damp proof underneath, so no dampness could come up underneath through the floor. Okay, we laid out the room. It's even more uneven than we thought. You can see the laser goes quite a way up. We're kind of predicting the worst, that we're going to run out of stuff quite quickly. But we're going to make a start because we know you can join this up even if it does run out. And the material we bought so far, it only cost 80 euros, so it's not expensive. I think we're just going to make a start, see how far we get. We bought the plastic, we knew it was big. In the shop, they measured it, only wanted 7 meters. They got to 7 and just kept going. I think this thing's about 12 meters long, but it all folds back on itself. We've got the overlap going up the walls. We're going to make a start. So first bag, there's our instructions. We're only using 50 litres at a time, so it's going to be 5 litres of water, 5 litres of cement, and then top up the water at the end. Looking at the instructions, you've got to mix it for 3 minutes with just water before you add the cement. Then top up a little bit, I suppose, just to get your consistency you want. It'll do 2 square meters at 5 centimeters deep. Obviously, looking at that level, we're way off of that. So, poured it in, gonna add the water, mix it for 3 minutes. There's the floor laid, all finished. In the end, 44 bags. So the next stage was to render all the walls with lime cement over all the brickwork and around the doorway and the windows outside. Okay, so the next thing we moved on to was tiling the floor. Big error, should have waited till the end. Other big error, we tried to tile, or we did tile directly on top of the clay beads. We should have put down a concrete or cement screed. But we got there in the end, although it did cause a few problems later on. Okay, the next phase, sort of 2 in 1, we did some painting and cemented the stone wall, the inner wall, filling in and leaving some stones showing. Bit of cementing, bit of painting over a couple of days. Okay, so there was a few days there of cementing in those bricks or stones. The next stage was knocking through a doorway to the other room. So quite an interesting task. Definitely don't want a tiled floor below you when you're doing work like that. And the walls are made of stone, held together with just clay mud. So the only tools you need to take them apart is a trowel or a piece of metal or anything. A little knife would do it. So luckily no need for heavy chiseling, just simply picking it apart one stone at a time. So as you saw, quite a challenge getting through the wall. You can see one half of a rock, you don't know how far it goes, and one of them went all the way through the wall. It was a monster, but got there in the end. We've got to build some proper steps the other side and properly line the sort of inside of the wall, but nothing cracked, nothing moved, everything was safe. All we had to do then really was paint the wall and tidy up. So a little bit of that footage now. One more thing needed for the room was electricals. It's kind of temporary. I got some of the wrong gear, but it works. Okay, so wired in some electrics yesterday. Used quite thick wire because we might put heaters in here one day. I've got 3 plugs around the room. That needs tidying up. I've run out of clips, so I need to clip everything and tidy all the wires up. I've got this really old light that I've left in from the front, and from the door coming through, this beautiful, we call it the Star Wars light, but I think originally from IKEA you can stretch it out and dim it down. So really pleased with that. I was originally going to put 2 light switches onto one, but I think I've got the wrong type of light switches, so I've gone with 2 lights in the end. And today is tidying up some of these, the paintwork around there, tidying up around the wood, and then look at cleaning the floor properly and grouting it out. So we're not quite finished, but we finished enough for this year. It took 8 weeks, a lot of work. Overall cost, the sliding window was 175. The underfloor was around about 100 in cement. We used a couple of €100 of the expanded clay beads. Tiles were a couple of hundred. Cement for the room and paint for the room was another couple of hundred. The door was probably the bargain of the year, €65 with a frame from Brico Marsh. It's a brilliant room. It's really well insulated. We've put a little heater in the corner. It holds the heat really well. 20 foot roughly by 10 foot roughly, or just over. At the moment, it's going to be used as a temporary bedroom. Next year, we're going to properly furnish it. But we're really pleased. There's still work to do, tidying up the stones. But we're going to do those one at a time, take our time. The floor needs a really good deep clean to get some of the cement off of it. Probably use acid for that, but again, a gradual thing. We'll probably do that if we've got time. We've also done a lot of work while we've been doing this in the garden. So before we leave, we'll give you a full tour of everything we've done in the garden. We've done a patio and steps and everything like that. So, and we're hoping to do a little bit more out there before we leave. But the whole thing came in at less than €1,250. And we've turned this unusable barn, really, just a storage barn that wasn't doing much for the house, into a beautiful, usable room. So I hope you enjoyed the video and what we've done. We're just normal people with DIY skills, and we're delighted with the result. Thanks again, everybody who watches, likes and comments and shares our video. Really appreciated, and see you on the next one.